Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
No.
Let's just see. Hey guys, can you guys hear us?
I don't think they can.
Can John, will you ask them if they can hear us?
Go to the audio. Can they hear us?
Oh, he hears us. Jack just said he can hear us loud and clear.
Sweet.
All right. Well, welcome to another live Q&A. I don't know if they see. I mean, I guess they could see, but
Look, there he is.
I'm gonna just there we
There's
go.
Kevin.
This is the new background, at least for today, and there he is, the infamous Mr. Rourke.
Yeah.
And welcome
And tattoo.
to Fantasy Island. This is it.
Welcome.
It took a battalion to get this tonight.
Thank you, Victor.
Yes, Victor
No,
is.
we do without Victor.
It's been rough. We do apologize about the delay this evening, but better late than never. And
Yeah.
we'll make it up to you. That's for
We
sure.
hope anyway.
Yeah. So it's been a week. It's been a hell of a week.
Yeah.
It's been. I was away, as you know. I was in New York visiting my daughter, and then we had a lot of downturn. I hear that. Oh, that's Jana. A little downturn late last week, as we somewhat, not really anticipated. We thought we would have a little bump up. I thought we would have a bump up at the end of last week, finishing out the week from option expiration. I think we both knew that it was going to get hit going into it. I thought we'd have a little bit of a rebound, but we did have the dollar start to move back up. It went over the DXY, went back over 100. Subsequently, it's back down below 100. At least it was today, back into the 98s. So I think that a falling dollar we're going to continuously see, and that should bode well for the yellow and the silver metals.
I believe they're going to eviscerate the dollar. In fact, I believe the whole plan is to destroy the dollar in an effort to support the bond market. The indebtedness is beyond belief, and it's growing by the day. And in essence, when you add in the $3 trillion a year minimum budget deficit, along with the $28 trillion that is due in 2028, that's $37 trillion off of $15 trillion in tax revenue. We're a long ways away from just, paying what we owe. They have no choice. And this is why I've been talking a lot about the stable coins that will be used to fund the front end of the treasury market. And my belief is they will peg gold to the back end to have zero interest rates to reshore manufacturing. I've talked a lot about this lately. But all I do know is that something very, 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 very big is happening with gold. Do you realize that in the first 3 days of the August contract, just the first 3 days, we've seen 20,126 gold contracts at 100 ounces apiece. That's over 2 million ounces of gold. It works out to almost 7 billion in gold deliveries. Now, one of the things that I really want to hammer home about how significant these numbers are, and they truly are hugely significant, is that every single contract that has been issued has settled for physical metal. This is the real demand, right? So that's a 1-1 ratio. And when you realize that for the past, my whole career, most contracts are closed out before delivery, almost all of them. It's either cash settled or rolled over.
Yep.
These are all standing for delivery, a 1-to-1 ratio. Physical metal is actually changing hands. And as far as I'm concerned, when you see over 2 million ounces of gold stand for delivery, every single contract stand for delivery when they used to say 1% or less stands for delivery. This is the same pattern that we've seen since the beginning of the year, Kevin, since November. Should I say tattoo?
Either one.
Really hello right there.
He looks a little different than he
I
did
know,
back in
so
the
does
day, though.
Rourke, I know.
I think it's maybe because of the AI generated. Did they
it
AI
is.
my face?
Yeah.
into tattoo?
No,
That's going to be for next week.
That's next
That'll
week.
be next week. You'll enjoy that
But
one.
I want people to think about that. The most well-informed traders and the biggest money in this country are standing for delivery. And it hasn't stopped. Every single month we are seeing. Now, August is
Have you ever seen this in your entire career? Anywhere close to this?
Never.
36 years.
And this is 3 days, so there's still plenty more time and open interest that could resolve in deliveries. But this is crazy, and this is exactly who's got $7 billion worth of gold to stand for delivery. That's the question. And this is something that I think is very, very, very significant, and really is a greater indicator as to where the price is actually going. These people don't, at that kind of level, that kind of sophistication, that kind of wealth, don't spend $100+ billion for metal, and a large portion of it leaving COMEX. Not all of it, not 1-to-1, but pretty damn close. A lot of it is the net outflow is shocking as well, and leaving the ecosystem. So, yeah, I just think that's far bigger to me than the price. The price is a tool of misdirection. This is not. This shows this is like the footprints in the snow.
These are
and
the crumbs.
The price is you're being misdirected by the footprints over there to go the wrong way. So you ever see the movie The Shining, when the little kid comes in and walks? He goes in at the end of the movie, and he tries to screw up his dad who's trying to kill him, where to go, and
it's the misdirection. It's the magicians of the industry. So now, is this just gold we're seeing this in, or is this other metals that it's happening to as well?
We've seen platinum, 1,006 contracts at 50 ounces a piece, or 1,900 ounces, stood for delivery in the first 3 days. Silver, it's not a silver delivery month, but so it's not a primary month. But we still in the first 3 days saw about 1,065 contracts stand for delivery. That's still over 5 million ounces. So, I mean, again, the level of sophistication and wealth it takes to do this, and then pull it off the exchange, where's it going? A lot of it is leaving COMEX. Not all of it, but a lot is. More so than ever, the offtake. But this is a pattern that we've seen over and over and over now, going back since November of last year, since the election. And it really, to me, is the footprints. It is the crumbs. And follow this, forget about the price, which will misdirect you. The people at this level are informed and wealthy as hell, and they do not do this unless they have an idea where the price is going. And this is not just a one-off. It's been this way every single month, and I need people to really have that hammered into their heads.
So that makes me think a little bit differently about some of the headlines that I read, because just a couple of weeks back, we saw Citibank, one of the major banks out there, they actually lowered their price target on gold.
They just re-raised it now.
So they just re-raised it. They put a $3,500 an ounce target over the next 90 days, putting a new range from 33 to 36, up from 31 to 35. What they did, I think it was like 3 weeks ago that we talked about it, that I said that they lowered their gold estimate, but they increased their silver estimate. So do you think that this is something that they certainly know or believe what you believe, and it's just a little bit more than just rate cuts or jobs data that's making them think differently about it?
I don't believe any of the drivel shit that comes out of these commercial banks' mouth. Goldman Sachs told everyone to go long on copper the day before it got absolutely
hammered. Yeah.
So these banks suck, and they are trying to pickpocket as much money from the public as they possibly can, and then they will come in with some form of forward guidance that, ultimately will be right. See, we told you it was going to go to 35, but they do it in a way that benefits them more. And look, I just think that it's becoming obvious that the amount of money that's coming into the country in the form of gold is not just an anomaly anymore. This is a trend, and it's from all corners of the globe. And I bet a lot of it is coming in through channels that do not require reporting. In other words, I guarantee you a lot is coming in privately into private vaults, maybe owned by like JP Morgan, who owns.
But they don't have to report it.
They don't have to report it, and it's being done because of national security. Maybe it's done through the Exchange Stabilization Fund. The Treasury has the right to do that. But this is the same Treasury that just announced they need to borrow $1 trillion between now and September, in the July to September quarter. That's $453 billion higher than they announced in April. So in the past couple of months, they were only a half a trillion short in their budget estimation for the third quarter.
Only.
Yeah. And so I think it's become obvious that gold is going to be part of the new system. You can see it happening across the globe. everywhere you look, you can see it. And we've talked about the expanding vault structure throughout the Shanghai Metals Exchange and multi-jurisdictional vaults that are coming up all over the place. I did want to bring something up before I forget.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at my notes here because this one is crazy. So you remember how I made a big deal about this new bridge technology?
Of course.
And the bridge technology they talked about was now connected to 11 Asian countries.
Right.
And
no coincidence there.
And 5 Middle Eastern countries. And they
Yep.
said this represents 38% of global GDP as is. Now, this is the technology, again, and I talked about last week how you have the BRICS Pay, which is one step below B2B and consumer
Yeah.
retail that's going into the Belt Road, just like the bridge technology, but or the M-bridge technology,
Right.
central bank to central bank. Anyways, what I'm getting at is that what is happening right now, you guys, is that they are building the infrastructure. They're building the infrastructure to a new BRICS settlement system, and China is running point on it, not using the word BRICS yet. But this infrastructure, the skeletal system, is exactly what the new BRICS pay system, the unit, will just integrate into. And if you see, look at all the pieces. So they came out and told us, we have connected 11 Asian countries. These countries, ASEAN is their acronym. We've connected them to the new bridge payment system, which, as you all know by now, I repeat things a lot, has
That's for sure.
yeah,
But
but I want
I
these are the
know, I
important
know.
things. That's okay. You can give me shit. I'll give you some too. Don't worry. I'll pour that water over your damn
I
head.
know you will.
And so they will they're connecting to these 11 countries, and they made a big deal about it. And then Lavrov comes out and says this new BRICS pay and the BRICS bridge is open to non-BRICS countries except not compatible with the dollar, the pound, or the euro. But they left it at that. And I made a big deal about it, saying, look, this is no small thing. This is 38% of global GDP. Well, Forbes just came out with an article. Let me read this to you. Forbes just pointed out that China is now just the third largest trade partner for the United States, a distant third behind Mexico and Canada. In the month of May, China represented less than 6% of U.S. trade, which is the lowest level in over 20 years. But then it talks about these Asian countries that together have a population twice as large as the United States, over 700 million people. These are also some of the fastest growing consumer markets in the world with a fast growing middle class. And this group of countries is now, get ready for it, China's largest trading partner by far and way ahead of the European Union and the United States. And what are they? Integrated into the bridge payment system that does what? Sidestep SWIFT clears in 7 seconds and at 98% reduction in fees. And what's coming next? BRICS Pay, which is B2B and consumer to bank, and it's the retail side, which will connect with this too. So now you're talking about a massive portion of the world already that is now the largest trading partner with the Chinese, that's got twice the population of the United States. It's got 40% of global GDP in and of themselves, and that's before the Belt Road and all the other things we talked about. But when you hear that this group has become China's largest trading partner as of May, we only represented 6% of total U.S.-China trade this year. It's the lowest in 20 years, the lowest. Whereas China is trading almost 17% of their foreign trade with the Asian countries. So when you talk about the ability to sidestep SWIFT, and it's just no big deal, all these poo-pooers say out there, as you can see, they do things methodically. And by the time this entire infrastructure is set up, now remember, the interesting thing about all of this is that when the BRICS bridge was set up, M-bridge, there were 4 countries that built it with the BIS Innovation Hub: China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. But if you all remember from my constant bad beating into your head, who was the 5th main member? Do you remember that too?
I don't know if I remember.
You said that very quietly, sheepishly. Are you afraid to?
No, I don't remember.
It was Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia became the 5th main member of this bridge technology. And where is the second vault being built? The first one's done in Hong Kong. So if China trades with Saudi Arabia to buy oil, and gives them the yuan. Right now, Saudi Arabia can send that yuan without converting the dollars directly to the Shanghai Metals Exchange in Hong Kong and take possession of physical metal. Where's the second vault being built right now?
Saudi.
In Saudi Arabia. It is under construction. And this is going to be a series of vaults along the Belt Road and throughout this infrastructure. So you have little by little, where did we hear that before? Little by little, we are seeing this infrastructure, the skeletal system be built, and you can see it's becoming more and more and more significant. And in this case, 700 million people, more than twice the US, and the fastest growing consumer markets in the world with the fastest growing middle class is now going to be able to transact on a central bank to central bank level and on a B2B and consumer to consumer with BRICS Pay outside the SWIFT interference.
So clearly, mainstream media is definitely not talking about this at all.
No.
Zero, nothing. We don't even hear the word BRICS. We don't hear about Asia. We don't hear anything.
You know what the worst part about that is, Kevin? A lot of people that live in our community, as an example, like, Shut Up Sean, as an example, very well educated, educated, and well read, just reads the wrong shit.
Yes.
And as Robert Kiyosaki has said to me many times, people cannot get out of the way of what they never see coming. And this is exactly what you're talking about. People who you love and you care about, people you are related to, will never be able to see this coming. You will have told them 100 times and they won't. And they had a lot to lose, by the way. That, what I'm
millions
talking about.
And millions, of course.
This is exactly the kind of stuff that just smacks you over
So
the head.
here's my question. So clearly the mainstream media is not talking about it. Are there anyone else that do similar things that you do? Maybe not on metals companies, but is there anyone out there talking about this? Because I've never heard anyone even mention this. I mean, when we were at Rick Rule's conference, people were astonished, I think, by some of the things that you were talking about, that you've kind of figured out the crumbs. Is there anyone else that you think is figuring out any of this?
I think the closest to it would be Vince Lancy, and I have a lot of respect for Vince. He talks about a lot of this. He hasn't connected the dots at the end the way I have, and I don't even know if he would agree with me or not. But he has talked a lot about the expansion of the yuan, the internationalization of it, and through the myriad of new trading or what I'm trying to say, the Shanghai Metals Exchange vaults, the multi-jurisdictional vaults. He's talked a lot about that. He's talked a lot about the BRICS. He's talked about a lot of this stuff, but not quite the way I have. And when I put together the front end of the yield curve that will be backed by these stable coins at low rates, and I'm like, well, if Judy says she wants to issue long-term treasuries pegged by gold with a zero coupon,
just convertible into
gold, which acts as the inflation hedge, that enables us to. And if we revalue gold, you devalue the dollar. You have a environment with a devalued dollar that you can bring back and zero borrowing costs on the long end. Bring back manufacturing, sell your manufacturing, and be competitive with it. Destroy the dollar and lose the world reserve status, but maintain your spot in the global hierarchy with the bond market that has great demand, and then allow us to over time to build our way back to it, to build and produce and manufacture our way out of this problem. The only way you can get your manufacturing back is to have a devalued dollar and zero borrowing costs on the long end. Well, how do you function the government? These stable coins where Besant, let me read you what Besant just said on stable coins, by the way, and thank you for your compliment. It was very nice.
Listen, I one of the things that we hear all the time is you go out on a limb.
Well, I do, and maybe it's stupid. Maybe it's stupid, but here's what Besant said. Last month, Secretary Besant even said this out loud. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go very short term. Wait until this guy, Fed Chairman Powell, and gets out, get the rates way down, and then go long term. In other words, he's going to keep selling the lower interest short term debt. Then once Powell's term as Fed Chairman ends next year, the Treasury Secretary thinks that he will be able to get the rates way down. No, that'll be what Judy does if she's the head of the Fed, or what the plan is to back the long end of the curve at redeemable gold way out that has a zero coupon, because the more stupid we are with monetary policy and the irresponsible we are with fiscal, the higher the price of gold goes. So you have zero borrowing costs, at which point he'll start selling long-term debt to lock in lower rates. As Luke Gromen, one of the smartest human beings on the planet, says, they want to anesthetize the 10-year Treasury for now and get all the demand on the front end and do so through all of the stable coins. But what people don't understand is that these stable coins are going to be issued by most every corporation around the globe, not just banks. MasterCard, Visa, American Express, all of these corporations will be able to issue stable coins in the manner of, well, look, it'll be convenient, you'll settle immediately, it'll be cheaper, faster, etc. But those stable coins will all still be backed by U.S. Treasuries. And when you realize that the Fed is trying, in essence, you have a Treasury Secretary saying he's going to get rates low. What he's saying is inflation is coming. What did I say? They're going to destroy the dollar. They have to inflate the dollar away. The one piece that I'm guessing on is the revaluation. Will they revalue gold? Judy seems to think they will. Everyone's talking about it.
When Judy says that they're going to revalue, does she give any indication as to what the revaluation is?
No, I think everyone thinks mark to market at 800 or 3,400, which would give about 900 billion to the Treasury. But James Rickards and his math says 24,000.
Right.
Other people are saying 15,000. Remember, every $4,000 increase gives the Treasury 1 trillion. So if James is right, and he's a smart dude, he worked for the CIA or was a consultant for the CIA on financial war games. So he knows what he's talking about.
Well, Rickards is the one that said that he thought even with the BRICS currency that they weren't going to actually be backing by gold, but they were going to actually tie it to the U.S. price of gold.
Right. So that
they didn't have to actually go out and buy the gold.
Correct.
Right.
So that if they weaken the dollar, gold goes higher, BRICS win. If they go in to buy, if the U.S. goes to buy gold to compete, gold goes up, dollar goes down, BRICS win.
Win-win.
But he gets it. But when you have a Treasury Secretary saying we're going to do this, you can expect inflation. There is no way we can pay 37 trillion in debt. Now that's the 28 trillion we owe on the bonds coming due, plus 3 trillion a year equals 9. Over the next 3 years, that's 37 with 15 trillion in tax revenue. You can't do it. And the only way you can bring manufacturing back and make it competitive is devalue the dollar. This is Triffin's dilemma. Here's another crumb.
That doesn't account also for Medicare,
everything.
Social Security.
Everything. Yeah. But here's another crumb. Yeah, the Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid is off balance sheet.
Right.
But here's another crumb, and that other crumb is you have the Vice President of the United States on White House letterhead talking about Triffin's dilemma, saying, it just may not be such a good deal for us anymore to be the world reserve currency. We do not want it. We don't want it. We used to want it. We don't want it now. We don't want it because it will hollow out your manufacturing. That just is what Triffin's dilemma says. The dollar will always be high, and the currencies that have to buy dollars, because we don't give them enough through trade alone, have to sell their currency to buy ours. Their currencies are weak. Ours is high. Manufacturing is way cheaper over there. That's how this problem started. Now, we're too far down the rabbit hole with indebtedness and low interest rates that created distortions in asset prices, where if you raise rates, you blow up this system that has risen to levels that one could argue is not real, that price discovery has been distorted through all of the years of easy money and low interest rates. And so, the house that you live in, what's it worth at 3%? What's it worth at 7%? What's it worth at 10% mortgages, et cetera? They can't allow rates to rise on the back end. That's why you revalue gold. You peg it and redeem it on long end treasuries with zero coupon. And now you have a devalued dollar. If you, like, for example, just so people get that, when Roosevelt confiscated gold in 1933, it was $20. He paid everyone $20.67. Those 67 cents was a lot back then. But then he devalued the dollar by 40%, making gold $35 an ounce. So he devalued the dollar. So if they revalued gold and devalue the dollar and have zero borrowing costs on the long end and the stable coins running the engine on the front end, short end with low rates, you can actually envision bringing back your manufacturing and allow. And why is this so important? Because 60% of America is not college educated. What are they going to do when AI comes in and takes all these jobs that are kind of on the low end of the white collar spectrum? What's going to happen? All these people are going to be out of work, so they have to have manufacturing. And the only way that, and I can see Trump coming on a Sunday night saying we've messed this up, we all have, and now it's time for us to fix it, and we're going to go through a little bit of pain but we have to do it for our kids and our grandkids so that we can once again be the engine of innovation and of manufacturing and build our way out of this problem. Because think about it, what do we produce anymore besides IT and financial assets? Hardly anything.
Nothing.
Right. And
but
so
that leads me to another question. Do you think that Trump wants the United States to no longer the dollar to no longer be the reserve?
Yes, I do.
Currency? Okay.
Because think about this. If he didn't, why would he be imposing tariffs upon all of our allies, including Mexico, including Canada, including the EU, including the UK, including Japan? It's like, how many times can I poke you like this before you punch me? And that's kind of what
more time.
That's kind of what this is. It is, and remember, what has been the benefit of being the world reserve currency for a very long time? It is that everyone has had to take our dollars and then reinvest everything else
into treasuries.
Yeah. It kept interest rates low, which kept asset prices high. We all feel wealthy in our house that's appreciated, our 401k that's appreciated, and it's kept goods cheap. Think Walmart, think Costco, think of all of the goods that we buy from across the globe that are cheap because manufacturing is much cheaper over there with their weak currency. So it's a trade-off. So the exorbitant privilege has been high asset prices and cheap cost of living, so we can buy the party favors and the trinkets and do all the things we want, and it's great, right? With high asset prices because of the low interest rates, courtesy of our foreign creditors. But now I think it's come to the point where he realizes that this has to change and that we can't continue to do this, and that being the world reserve currency is actually a hindrance rather than a benefit, because the trade imbalance will continue to accelerate. And when we started weaponizing the dollar and did all of those things, the rest of the world says, screw it, I don't want treasuries anymore. They forced our hand. Or maybe we forced their hand to force our hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, Anna, are you going to come say hi? You don't have lipstick on?
Yeah.
You can say hi if you'd like.
I mean, we saw gold rally a little bit.
Chicken shit. Yeah. The Ninja's here? Oh. Hey, Ninja.
What's up, Ninja?
I haven't talked to him in a long time. You know I love you.
We saw gold rally a little bit, but that was at least what they were saying on the heels of the non-farm payrolls at only 73,000.
But so the 73,000 on non-farm payrolls was way less than they had expected.
Correct.
But did you see the revision part of that? The revision is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So in May, they told us that we had 144,000 jobs created. And in June, they told us that we had 147,000 jobs created. Well, they just came back after they said that the July non-farm payroll numbers were lower than expected. But sorry, by the way, May, which was 144, we just revised it down to 14. And June, which was 147, well, we just revised that down to 19. So in other words, the 3-month average just fell from 150,000 new jobs to 35.
So basically, they were accounting for Uber, Lyft as one job.
Most of the
almost separate jobs.
Almost every single job that was created on this one was in the medical field. Ninja, if you want to come on, you let me know, man. I'd love to
put you on stage.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone would love to talk to you.
All right, while we're waiting for Ninja to come on and see if maybe he wants to join us, let's get to a couple of questions here. We have Alex Charlie. Let's see. Hi all. Silver has already rebounded nicely after last week's sell-off. Almost 37.50 now. Incredible that some stackers and podcasters were in panic because it dropped a couple of bucks last week. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that not only stackers were in panic, but we had a lot of, I would say that last week happened to, at least it felt like a really busy week here. I was away, I was in New York, and my phone was definitely blowing up on the days that it was coming down fast and furious. But that's, again, people panic, and I take it as an opportunity. I mean, again, anytime that we could be buying silver in the 30s, I think that you're getting a steal.
There's an entire field of financial analysis called wave theory, Kondratiev wave and Elliott wave. That's all based on human emotions, fear and greed, and nothing motivates people more than fear. But I will tell you that while I would argue to a large degree the banking cartel has really lost the ability to push gold around the way that they'd like to. They're still in control of silver to a degree. And but what's different is that in years past, after the drubbing, it would continue to fall. Like through this week, it would be just plummeting. They can't do that anymore. There's not enough physical silver to continue to naked short when all of these contracts. What did we just say about the deliveries? All of the contracts that were presented stood for delivery. Every single one of them so far in this delivery cycle, 3 days in, every single one is standing for delivery. That's was an anomaly, but it's kind of becoming
more mainstream. Yeah,
it's becoming not the
it's
exception anymore.
It's becoming more the rule, right?
And you cannot naked short something you can't come up with. So I think when you realize the LBMA has 155,000 ounces as their float right now, the lowest ever since they've been keeping records, but they're trading upwards ends throughout the day of 1.9 billion ounces a day, or 3.5 times the annual global mine supply. They're doing the same thing with platinum. They're going to get stuck. And I think to a large degree, there are a lot of traders out there that understand this, and they're going to continue to stand for delivery, but in a manner that doesn't trigger that blow up. They don't want to blow it up until they've siphoned everything that they can get their hands on. And then the price will blow up.
Yeah.
And then the price will be settled in Moscow or St. Petersburg or Dubai or Shanghai or any of these other facilities around the world that understand the real value of this stuff that they have been accumulating and producing for years now.
Yeah, I think most people just get it wrong in that sense, is that price is not necessarily the value of what it is. You know, that's the differential. So
I would argue all this stuff is worth more than the dollars that are being used to buy it. I can't see that. What does that say?
It says, a quick FYI, Tattoo is in charge of Andy's Special Services Division. Hey,
way to go.
I think I just
Here's Tattoo right here.
I think I just got promoted.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's because he's all tatted out, and I have a tattoo that he made me get.
I made him.
Yeah. You know.
Man, I actually tied him down.
It is a good one, though. I don't think people can see it.
Yeah.
It's
although I think when you actually
it.
described it last time, you said that your symbols were wrong. You might want to.
Yeah, I have the periodic table of elements here. We got palladium, we got silver, we got platinum, we got gold.
Now you did it correctly.
Right.
There you go. Way to go. Way to go. And by the way, we have in, I think it's 2 weeks, we're going to be going to New York for some private symposiums.
Yeah.
We have to do a shout out to Dr. Dinowitz. I told him.
Doc, you can fix Tattoo's teeth while we're there.
You know what? That was so unnecessary. I mean, I need help, but not necessarily orally. So, yeah.
Well, there's a real good joke there.
Oh, let's please. Let's get to the next one. Rebecca Johnson wants to know what your best time guess would be on the revaluation of gold. I mean, you said it was. I mean,
I don't think it has to be before they peg it to the Treasury, because the Treasuries will be long duration.
Do you think it's going to coincide with the July 26th?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I will say that Luke Roman said he thinks that they'll let it rise organically for a while, higher than people think, and then they'll revalue it. But the revaluing it is very important, not only to peg it, but because it devalues the dollar. You see, we've gotten so far down the indebtedness. You know, we talk about all this stuff, and you brought up the Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. You add all that together, we're well over 300% debt to GDP.
Right.
Doesn't work. So anyways, bottom line is that I think part of the plan would be most certainly to devalue the dollar through revaluing gold. And who would benefit most? Central banks. You're going to get less pushback from the policymakers of the world than I think people would think. And it's happened before 3 times in this country. Why can't it happen again? I think it will.
History repeats itself.
And with all the central banks buying it the way they are, I'm sure it would only benefit most of the developed world.
John, you let us know if Ninja wants to come on.
He can. He's on the road.
Ninja, okay. Love you, buddy. My best to you and T, man.
If he wants to, he's more than welcome. He can come on.
He's
mobile.
A class act.
Okay.
Everyone should check him out, the Economic Ninja. Check him out. He's as good as they get.
Sure
Smart
is.
As they get.
Sure is. All right, William Hofford, your first episode with Michelle. The gold bonds made no sense. Why would anyone buy a gold bond denominated in U.S. dollars? If I buy $1 million bond,
it's not denominated in well, it is. It's I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. If I buy $1 million bond worth just under 300 ounces of gold in 50 years, I want 300 plus back. Is what he's saying.
Well, the idea is that the appreciation through inflation will make it worthwhile, I guess.
Right.
And I don't know exactly how they plan on, maybe there is some form of a coupon. Maybe that coupon is in gold. In other words, maybe they pay you an interest rate in gold as well. So the idea is to have zero borrowing costs on long-term duration treasury debt when you're going to continue to inflate away your currency. You have to have a yield high enough to make it worth people's while. And so, fine, maybe they give you a return in gold, but and she wasn't very specific.
No,
about
but
that.
I could see that. I could see that the coupon being a portion of gold redeemable at the end.
That's what it is.
Almost like how they used to have issued the double E bonds. It pays nothing intermittently, but then at the end there's something at the end of it.
But there is, and Judy says, look, it can be paid in dollars if you want, or in gold. But look, the rails, the infrastructure of the treasury market, the liquidity of it, is something that would be very difficult for the rest of the world to build on their own. I mean, maybe in 10, 15 years, these BRICS nations, if they really get their act together, could. But until then, it is the most liquid, safest, and I say that almost choking on the words, but if they did it the right way, it does have legs. It does. And I don't think that 50-year treasury she said that they would issue shorter duration as well. But
still redeemable in gold?
Still redeemable in gold, yes.
Got it. So that's why I think that does make sense and why they would potentially issue a coupon based on that.
Of course.
All right, Sean Peterson wants to know, Andy, will your company, this is a very apropos question right here. We were talking about this earlier. Andy, will your company play a part in the physical side of digital gold?
Well, we already are. We are the U.S. contact for Glint,
right?
For Jason and Glint. And when people want to cash out a Glint, they can do so with us and receive physical metal in return. In terms of being involved with stable coins or something like that, I've been asked. I just signed an NDA and have been asked to be a board member for a company here in the States and who have some pretty neat things. Yep, and you've talked with them too, Shauna. We were on a long time ago. Remember, we were on a conference call, the three of us. Well, it's gone further now. Just signed it today. Well, I just signed it. Can you tell me about it, or I haven't.
I mean, I don't know if now's the right time, but I'm just saying.
But I'll tell you his name. I think his name is Cole. Cole, if you're watching.
Not Trickle.
No, it's not.
Because that was.
How about Dick Trickle? Dick Trickle was a race car driver.
No, it was Cole Trickle.
No, Dick Trickle was the race car driver.
Oh, well, Cole Trickle is from Days of Thunder.
Well, Dick Trickle's a real race car driver, and he was Eric's client.
Dick Trickle is a really bad name.
Our good man Eric, who used to work at
I know him. By the way, we screwed up today.
Why?
Because we didn't call Jason Kutz.
Oh, crap.
And that's not good because that is coming to an end.
You need to call Jason and tell him that you're sorry. Well, I said his name is Cole, but that's it. Okay, I can't talk about it. NDA, Michelle.
You can't talk about something that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, Michelle is. This is why Michelle is here, because she pushes back on everything I say, and she's typically right. So thank you, Michelle.
And
it's his fault. Tattoo did it. He made me do it.
I'm just the good-looking one, Michelle. You know that.
Definitely.
All right. So yeah. All right. Hold on. We got some more here. All right. You know that. It's fine.
For those of you who don't know by now, Michelle McCory, the pride and joy of Miles Franklin Media. That's who we're talking.
All right. Let's see. Robert Johnston. I have heard the central banks are buying gold and silver.
That wasn't a nice way to say his last name.
Well, I didn't notice the T. It was like Schechtman.
The T is silent.
Well, evidently not for all Schechtmans.
Yeah, my son.
Josh likes the T. Okay. The Schechtman portion of your name is. I never called you.
Look at your little arms behind your head. I think that's hilarious.
And then if I did this and I say hello, de play.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's great. Although Jana did say that we look orange. I don't know if it's because of you think it's because of the background or no? Or it's just the lighting in here? Okay.
I think we're just really tan.
I mean, I know I'm a little pale, but you look like Russell. But I'm just saying. Yeah. All right. So Robert Johnston. I have heard the central banks are buying gold and silver direct from small mining
That's
companies
true.
worldwide. What are your thoughts on that, Andy?
It's true, and from artisanal miners, that is very true. And this is all bigger part of disintermediating the marketplace. If you buy it, so one of the theories that what's his name? He goes by the handle of King Kong Gorilla. He's been on my show, having a senior moment.
Because you're old.
King Kong on Twitter. You all know who I'm talking about. He says that China is involved in suppressing the paper price in the West as well, and then going all around the world and buying it off. Not only, I'll get to his point, but buying it from platforms that don't trigger an increase in the price. In other words, the price is set in the West. So if you suppress the Western price and then go all around the world and buy it up from exchanges where the price isn't determinant upon what you buy, that's one way. And a lot of the ways they're doing it is through shell companies. They're buying it through sovereign wealth funds. They're buying it through proxy banks like a commercial bank. But as we've talked about at length, they're going directly to the miners, largely in South America, Peru, and Mexico. As Vince Lancy says, they buy silver from the Mexican miners before it's even called silver, and it's doré, it's concentrate. But they're doing the same thing with gold, and they're doing that throughout Latin America, and they are doing it with the local and artisanal miners. Remember, China is the largest producer of gold in the world, the second largest of silver in the world. All of the countries, it would behoove and benefit them to do exactly that, and to do so in a way that allows them to continue to add. It doesn't affect the price as they're buying it, and it keeps under wraps just how much they own. I think it's 100% happening.
Yeah.
Eric Young, yes, Eric Young. I'm sorry, Eric. I read you every day, man. It's been a long day. I've been here since 8 a.m. and it's 6 p.m. So my brain is like. Yeah. And I like, but I gotta say, I mean, you gotta say, and I'm from Minnesota, right? Midwestern all the way. But I mean, his parents were kind of, I mean, didn't his parents say, boy, we're strapping our son Dick here with a really bad name? Like,
I mean,
how about like John Trickle?
Well, they probably named him Richard Trickle, and then just in time he became Dick Trickle. I mean, that's it's
what's
like,
the word, incontinence, where it just trickles. I mean, it's like he should have been the spokesman for Depends. Yeah. I say that with respect.
No,
right?
Like
I mean,
some cream that you have problems with. But
no, it would be for
Richard Hertz.
No, it would be for Depends, like, because your dick trickles.
Yeah, I got it. Well, that would be, yeah, I guess so. But I was thinking more like Dick Trickle, you have some other issues, but it's like Richard Hertz.
No,
you know Richard Hertz?
I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
don't know why I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, Dick Pickles. Dick Pickles. I'm sorry, David Pickles. Now everything's just Dick here. David Pickles wants to know that if he had a spare $2 million, should he buy gold or silver or split between the two?
I think that right now, silver is an opportunity that you don't find ever. I mean, I shouldn't say that because it's here, but it's an opportunity that is very unusual on every level. The word is asymmetrical, lowest downside, highest upside, massive depleting inventories across the globe.
Generational wealth builder.
It is, but I think in the end, the place to be is gold, and that's playing the ratio. You buy silver at 100-to-1 ratio to gold, and then switch it when it gets to 50, which would still be above its 150-year average, but 7 times higher than it's coming out of the ground at. This is it's coming out of the ground at 7-to-1. It's at 100-to-1. It's ridiculous.
I had a couple of clients call me and say, I always hear Andy talk about swap it when it gets to 50-to-1 or thereabouts. It doesn't necessarily mean that you swap all of it out at 50-to-1. You just you like the same way as many people buy as things go higher and you dollar cost average in, you do the same thing on the way out. As things go higher, you dollar cost average out of it to go in. That way you're buying, gold at different prices with the proceeds from your silver. Same theory.
Yes, and that's and pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered. Yep. So, you want to start doing it slowly to maximize it. But the difference is, you could have $2 million in gold in a big duffel bag. It'd be heavy. It would weigh roughly 600, it would weigh 45, 50 pounds. You could run to your car with it. 2 million in silver is going to weigh probably 3,000 pounds. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's ridiculously heavy. So if you can get past logistics or have it stored, I think silver is a generational opportunity. But gold, when the music stops, is the place to be. If a genie came out of the bottle and said you get one wish, you can buy one, what would it be? I'd probably say gold, just because. And I think in the end, it's going to be part of a new system. If he said you get two wishes, the first one would be that you buy a whole bunch of silver, and the second one would be you
swap it for gold. Right, that would be
that's how to do. If it all works out according to plan, I think it's a unique generational opportunity, once in a generation type of opportunity with very low downside.
Ernie said, Kevin, we both done good with those platinum eagles. I'm holding to maintain my position, but how did you react to platinum recent spike? When would you personally want to take profits versus holding long? What I tell you, I just did when you were away.
You bought some platinum
eagles. I bought more platinum eagles. I bought more silver and I bought more platinum eagles. On the downturn, platinum was down, what was it down? Like 70, 80 bucks when I called you and told you I bought it. It's when it was the same exact time that they were destroying copper. Copper was down almost 19% on the day.
And then a day before that, Goldman Sachs told their people to buy.
So, which is typical. But yeah, I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. I don't, like Andy, I buy these metals not necessarily to liquidate. I don't have the need to get out of it back into fiat. If anything, like you said, we swap from metal to metal depending on the time. And yeah.
Say hi to my father-in-law, Val.
Hey, Val. Where is he?
Val, hi.
Val.
Val.
This is Val Kalivich.
Oh, hi.
Nice to see you, Val. I don't see you, but hope you're well. Thanks for
you can envision him.
This is tattoo.
And I can envision.
See,
what do you mean?
this is tattoo right here.
I know your father.
I know you know him.
Yeah.
Do you?
What do you mean?
I guess you have met him, haven't you?
Of course. What do you mean? I mean, I don't know that.
Does he know his tattoo?
I don't think he knows me. I think he knows that tattoo.
This is tattoo.
He knows. He does have very. By the way, look at the pinky. Like but it's almost like it almost is like a foot. It's like a toe. Something
after yours.
Something is wrong with this. I don't think that's the tattoo I remember the face wise. The hair I do, but
I love it. I truly love it.
Wait, Andy actually had. Still does, and I'll let him put it on the background.
Oh my God, we got to give that to Jack. Have him put that on there.
I can do it. He.
What? Can you do it now?
No, it's a little. Do you have it?
Yeah, I find it.
Yeah, if you have it, then I can do it. But it's. He took a picture. Certainly, he's not the most technologically advanced person, but he took a similar picture to this. But I think that Mr. Rourke, I believe, was sitting in the chair. And was tattoo on his lap? I don't remember.
I think I got it.
But he put Andy's face on Mr. Rourke, and he put my face on tattoos. You did that?
Can you?
Oh, so I mean, there you go. Can you send it? I could pop it up there. I probably can do that.
How about this one? How about that one?
Oh my God.
Better not do that.
That one might get us into trouble. HR.
I don't have it.
HR and a lot of other acronyms.
Can you send it to him, please?
Yeah, we'll
we
get
need
it
to
again.
put that up.
We'll get it again. All right, let's get back to. Oh, here we go. Jake, we love Jake's custom parts. What's up, Jake?
There's no one better.
Tell them the Randy Johnson fast pitch story. Oh boy. Oh my Lord.
I'm sorry.
That is sensational.
The Randy Johnson fast pitch story.
That is. I'm crying. Hold on.
Well, is that the one where I think he's talking about you can't get out of the way of what you can't see coming. It's like standing
we just spoke about
standing in a batter's box blindfolded against Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson actually threw a pitch. He's 7 feet tall, one of the greatest left-handed pitchers of all time. Seattle. He threw a pitch and it hit a seagull or a dove or a bird as it flew by, and the bird exploded. I mean, exploded. So I liken so much of the fact that there are well-read people that are very intelligent, just reading the wrong shit, that don't know what's coming. It's like standing in a batter's box against Randy Johnson blindfolded, and the fear that should be coming through your head because you don't know it, because you don't know,
Who's pitching? Yeah.
It's an analogy that I think is apropos in the respect that that's the kind of threat that's coming, and people who are well-read and even a pro baseball player couldn't hit Randy Johnson's fastball blindfolded, and couldn't get out of the way of it either if it was coming at his head.
So
I love Jake, though.
Joe Cavi writes, is that tattoo he's nicknamed after?
Yes.
I thought it was the new tattoo on his arm had something to do with it.
No. It's a long story. Did you send it to him?
Yeah. We get, I just got
We'll
a
put it
text
on
from a
next
client. A lot of the time I get texts from when we're talking about the GSR or the gold silver ratio. She wants to know if we're going to let our clients know when we're starting to swap. So certainly as a client of Miles Franklin, yes, it is our responsibility to let our clients
I'll
know
be all over that.
when we are starting to, again, do the GSR. We're not going to tell you that you must do it. It's not something that, it's your money. You get to make the decisions, but we will let you know when we think the time is right and to start pulling those triggers. So yes.
I think we should put
that was
Shauna
Donna
on the stage.
Yeah.
We put you on the stage.
No. Okay.
Just checking.
All right. Let's see what else we
Say
got
hi to
here.
your father.
Hi, Papa.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. Conrad Tigger Johnson.
Didn't say anything.
Remind me later. Hello from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. My question is, when Trump get USA back on the gold standard, do you think that will encourage Canada to go back on the gold standard as well? Thanks. I don't know that we are getting back on the gold standard.
I don't
the
think
way
we're
that
getting.
we were.
Yeah, the gold standard won't be traditional. It will be backing the treasury market with gold, not the currency. Currency is going to be destroyed. It'll be backing the bond market with gold in an effort to continue to fund our indebtedness and allow us to reshore manufacturing and grow our way out of it. The old gold standard, where M1, the currency in circulation, was gold or backed by gold, I think those days probably won't come back. It's not practical. Now you got the states here like Florida, who's in essence, and Texas and Oklahoma passing these legal tender laws where in theory you could take American Eagles, go pay your taxes. I don't think they envision people walking around the street with a handful of gold and silver, albeit good. If the law reads if a shop wants to take your gold and
Then they
silver,
can.
they can. You can't force them to. But using the Glint app as an example, which comes with a MasterCard, is probably more along the lines of what
Yeah.
they're talking about. And then if you do that, there's discussion, and hopefully soon, of not only on a state level, which we've seen,
Federal.
but on a federal level, removing any
Capital gains tax.
on
Yeah,
the use if it's used in a transaction.
Correct. Although I have to say and just point out, like, really, Maryland, what are you doing?
Yeah, no doubt.
All these states are now taking away the sales tax, and you go in and
I think Washington
reimpose it.
is doing the same thing.
What
now,
are you
too.
doing? What are these states doing? Taxing you on currency, on money. It's absolutely just asinine.
What
You
Kevin
should
is
really-
saying is that in Maryland, and I've heard rumor of this happening in Washington, that they have reinstated sales tax on precious metals.
They have. And that's
Which
on the
is just
heels
obnoxious.
of all these other states. All these other states now removing it. Okay, even ones that, Wisconsin was one. I think Minnesota is actually planning on removing it, right?
No, I don't think so.
I thought there was rumblings
Well,
of
it might be.
Minnesota,
I don't know.
or at least
It's
changing
stupid
the
laws.
taxation of it between numismatics, coins, and rounds and bars. But Maryland, wake up, man! Like, come on, what are you doing? Think. All right. So Steve Edmonds wants to ask, if the U.S. revalues the price of gold, would that make every other country revalue their currencies as well, or would U.S. not
No, it wouldn't make them revalue their currency, but it would. Their
make
gold.
them
Gold. Anything is what someone is willing to pay for it. So, like for example, if how could I say this? If you owned anything, you owned a PlayStation,
Yeah.
first one, a PlayStation 1 that came out 15, 20 years ago, and there was a big, if Sony Corporation said, we will pay anyone $1 million that wants to sell us their PlayStation, even though that's not what it's worth. Isn't that what it is worth?
It is.
If someone stands behind it saying, I will pay this, whatever. So, in other words, if the U.S. says gold is now, that was a stupid example. I couldn't think of anything. But if they say gold is now 24,000 an ounce, the U.S. Treasury stands ready to buy any gold that central banks, maybe even they go as far as saying individuals. I don't know how far they take it, but the mandate would be we will pay $24,000 an ounce for your gold, whoever wants to sell it at that price. That's what it is.
Well, it's a good point that you brought up, because it's one of the ways in which I actually, when we first met and I was talking to you about Bitcoin, and I think if you haven't read it, Jason Williams, for anyone who's a metal enthusiast that wants to understand the crypto market or the Bitcoin market, Jason Williams wrote a book. It's the easiest read I've ever read. It's called Bitcoin: Hard Money You Can't F With. And he puts it in a way where, he talks about what is currency, and it's anything that has value that enough people get behind, that has value.
They agree to.
And they basically, he talks about, when you're in jail,
cigarettes,
ramen noodles. Ramen noodles. Because what does money give you in jail?
Right.
It gives you nothing.
Right.
You have the commissary, but when you're in jail, ramen noodles is their currency. So
a shank,
that probably would be currency too. I mean, again, I don't know, but I guess it could be considered. But these are things that are mainstream, and that's what, when you have to really just think outside the box. That's what it is. And we were talking the other day about the marriage between Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and metal, and I think that you're probably one of the few that do believe that it's not one or the other. They can live side by side and be together.
I just think the communities, it's foolish for the communities to be
believe,
adversarial.
And to believe that there's only one right.
But it makes the argument, it makes your understanding of monetary theory, of your understanding of the workings of the fiscal system, your understanding of geopolitical events, of all of the things that matter. It makes your understanding far better, your argument, your portfolio stronger, your understanding better. And it's divisiveness. It's like divide and conquer. We're on the same side. In other words, if this is a house that we all walk in, and the house is understanding, the house is called, I understand that the monetary system is fucked up and I need to do something about it. The Bitcoiner and the gold guy walk in hand in hand, side by side. When they walk in the door, however, one says, who wants to make a profit, go this way, and who wants to preserve, go that way. Now, 100%. You can make a profit in gold and silver. I'm not saying you can't, but the motivation of most people buying Bitcoin is to profit. And I use the casino as a good example. Like, if you win, every hand you win, take one chip and put it in your pocket. Every hand you win, take one chip and put it in your pocket. At the end of the night, when you go to the cage, you have a pocket full of chips. So
You've been watching my wife gamble?
Yeah. Well,
that's what she does.
She's smart.
That's what she does.
Because this is how you win, and you de-risk your position. You have a better understanding of monetary theory and all of the problems going on, and it makes you, I think, not only more well-rounded, but your portfolio will perform better, and you will always have chips when you leave the casino. And I think that's important, because to me, Bitcoin is not a tool of preservation. It's a tool of wealth generation. And any asset that can fall by 60% in a matter of days is not a currency, nor is it something to preserve. Correct. But it can make you a lot of money, generationally wealthy. And then it's what you do with that. So my idea is to link the two communities, to bring us together. And, a guy used to work for me, Andy Hoffman, started saying this years ago, and I bought into it and I believed it. It just, that theory, his ideas kind of went off the rails, but it was a sound idea, and I think it still is. And my idea would be to join and commingle the two communities. I think, I think that's something. I'm not Peter Schiff. I'm not as smart as Peter, and I'm certainly not going to push away the all of the Bitcoiners by saying it has to be one or the other. I think it's completely stupid. Take your profit and put it in gold and leave the original stack there. Yeah,
and I think that's where Michelle's going to be, integral in doing that.
That's the idea. Yeah. I mean, it is. It's totally the idea.
TJ Herr wants to know if we guarantee a rebuy on our sales.
Yes.
We do. We guarantee to buy back all the metals that we have sold you. Of course, we can't tell you what price it is, but I can tell you that we pride ourselves on being one of, if not the highest bids in the industry. Again, we can't know what spot's going to be doing at the time, and we also have no idea what premiums are going to be when we're buying back. But yeah, at any point in time that you want to have us buy back your metals, give us a call. We'll give you a quote. If it's something that you're happy with, we will be more than happy to buy it back from you. We will help you and supply you with the FedEx labels in order to get it back to us safely and securely and fully insured. And that's it. So if any questions, info@milesfranklin.com. Jean will put you in touch with one of the extremely intelligent brokers on the force, and they'll be able to help you. Wadzzy, you had something? Hold on, I already asked that one. Hold on. A bunch more came in. SK wants to know, gentlemen, can you discuss what will happen to silver if gold is revalued? Without going forward and moving on, I can tell you it would go higher.
There's a 90% correlation through all of history, and if one goes, the other will go too. Who knows how high it goes? But you couldn't have gold in the
15,000, right?
5-6 digit, 5 digit,
and the second part of that, I'm sorry to cut you off, Ann, but how will industry and military allow a skyrocketing silver price to bring ratio closer to gold if gold is revalued?
Because silver is called inelastic, and there's such small, minute amounts used in every component that it doesn't really matter. If you need a fifth or a third or a fifth or an eighth of an ounce in an iPhone, okay, so it costs a little bit more, but your iPhone's already $1,500. So
and going higher.
Yeah, and the amount of silver used in all of this stuff is pittance compared to the price. A Tomahawk cruise missile that uses 500 ounces of silver, sure, it's a lot, but what does a Tomahawk cost?
Right, and by the way, and the government has already had the ability to create and manufacture all of these missiles and everything else silver is used for the last 45 years at pittance of a price.
This is why they've kept it down.
That's right.
They're keeping it down too. But when you talk about industry, because it's used in such small amounts in anything, the amount of silver in this computer is probably amounts to, $20? I don't know.
If
that. And so if it now costs, it's $100, yeah, your cost went up by $80, but how much is the computer? 2,000? Yeah. So now it's 2,100. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. More along the lines, to me, it's not about cost as much as it is if the military-industrial complex is the entity behind holding the silver price down, which I believe they are. Why else would you have 8 Western banks holding down the price for so long? The largest concentrated short position in any commodity traded, this tiny little market called silver, it makes 0 sense unless they were doing it for a reason. It's not about holding down the price as much as it is holding down the story. Price is the story. Price allows misdirection of narrative. And if everyone were buying silver, I just saw something on X the other day. If everyone bought 1 ounce of silver in the world, there'd be none left.
Yeah.
So it's more along the lines of saying nothing's to see here, folks. You don't want any of this shit. It's just
keep on moving.
Yes.
Right. Everyone just keep going.
It's not the price as much as it is the decreasing footprint in nature. It's disappearing geologically, and most of what has been used in industry for the last 80 years is in landfills or blown up in bombs. It's gone. It doesn't make sense to recycle a fifth of an ounce of silver or a tiny little bit out of anything that you would have ever used way back when, like a handheld radio or a hairdryer or any first video game you ever played handheld or any of that stuff has a little bit of silver in it, and it's in a landfill now. So It's gone.
All right. F37 Metal says, hey, Andy, I'm here for more tasty info. You rock. Class is in session. Pay attention, class. You just might learn something. There you go. I think that's like a compliment.
Right on, man.
Yeah, right
Thank you very much. Rock on, brother. On. Hey, look, we do this much more informally, and Kevin and I like to give each other shit. And
a lot of shit.
I guess one of the things I liked about Richard Russell was getting to know who he was a little bit. And I'm more myself on this show, Kevin, than I am ever on the other shows where I have to be, somewhat normal and studious. But
I wish they knew a little bit more.
I think some people might not like it. A lot would. The guys that would like to have a beer with us would.
No doubt about it.
The other ones may say, geez, am I listening to this goofball? Look,
No, I told you the other day, my client called and said this is it. He loves it because it's the first time he's able to see you outside of what the norm is. You know, they see you, and yes, you are exactly what you appear when you do all your podcasts. You are, again, one of the smartest people I've ever known, albeit also one of the dumbest. But people don't know that. He is, without a doubt,
the smartest, dumbest.
No,
dumbest, smartest.
You're not the smartest, dumbest. You're the dumbest, smartest that I've ever known. He is 100% everything that you feel about him, as earnest and honest as the day is long. That is him. He just happens to be the dumbest, smartest person I've ever known. But
give an example. How might?
Oh God, I can't now because
you're not. No one's asking you.
We have a lot, but I'm going to make a list for next week. And that way we can present it, and that way we can make a segment.
Listen,
let me, and I'm going to have like it's going to be nice and colorful.
What they talk about is that, you know, I'm like the absent-minded professor. If you all spent as much time reading and studying and thinking and trying to put this all together as I do, like my wife will look at me sometimes and she says, "Where are you? What's the matter with you?" And I'm just, you know, I'm constant. My biggest challenge in life is to shut it off. And it's very difficult. I'll lay in bed and stare at the ceiling and figure things out. I'll get up in the morning and go for a walk. I'll sit in the shower and my head never shuts off. Never. The only time it does is when I'm doing something fun, and then
but even still, I mean, I can't tell you that when we were on the cruise, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
And
never.
And it's not even. I think you were actually turned it off even more so than I did, because I didn't remember Jana giving you nearly as much shit as Julie gave me. That I didn't stop.
I was actually giving you shit for what, but
I know.
You know what? It's a blessing and it's a curse.
It's a curse. I know.
But it's a blessing. You know, I mean, because what would you rather have? You know, nothing I mean,
and I always tell you that, you know, listen, if my client calls and I can't be present for him when they call, you know, there's a good chance that they're going to go to someone else, and I don't want that to happen. I value all my relationships, and
that's what business is relationships. It's not. I don't know, but I find that if I don't do this constantly, I fall behind, and there's so much. There's a lot. It's hard to find the middle ground.
I think what I'm going to do.
I still love it. I still enjoy it.
And I think what I'm going to do to just make everybody happy is I'm going to make a top 10 list. I'm going to make a top 10 list, and I'm going to let everybody know what I mean by.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, it's a compliment. I know that. It's a term of endearment.
And by the way, I love it because
the funny thing is, I agree with most of it. I'm like, I can't argue with that. Like, you know, having my zipper down, which for some reason always seems to happen. I don't do it purposely. I just button my pants and forget there's a zipper. I don't know. I mean,
I know.
He plays my tag hanging out of my shirt.
Listen, I don't think I've ever played golf with him where he's not wearing shorts and the tag is not sticking out the back of his shorts. Every single time. I think that 90, maybe 80% of the time, he's usually missing one belt loop in the back right. I'm just saying, these are just little innuendos that I happen to love about him. And I don't even say anything. I just point to everyone. I'm like,
yeah, I get it.
But, I know, but I love you. To know you is to love you. You know that.
But I don't have enough time to.
I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, don't make me upset.
Are you planning on killing me sometime soon?
That's me. My wife's the one that watches the murder mysteries.
What does it say?
It says Stu Utz, but it looked like Stu Gotts for a minute. But it says, Andy, premiums seem to be locked low. Spoke to you while you were on the cruise. You remember Stu? Stu Utz?
Hi, Stu. Yeah, premiums are as low as I've seen them ever, pretty much.
Yeah.
That'll change. Look, they were higher than I'd ever seen them for 4 years recently. It'll change. The public is fully invested in equities and the largest margin account holdings in history at $1 trillion ever. And the largest allocation to equities ever, the public, the retail public. Whereas the institutionals are dumping securities, dumping them at a clip of $2 billion a week. Bezos has sold $6 billion in stocks since the beginning of. And if I said treasuries, I meant securities. He's sold $6 billion in stock since June. The 3 or 4 biggest shareholders, board members of NVIDIA, same thing, hundreds of millions. They've sold hundreds. All the insiders are selling, the institutionals are selling, and the public's all in. At the same time, the exchanges are being bled dry and the public isn't buying any. What could go wrong? And so the premium on this end, which is low now, in 10 seconds can change and
Instantly.
probably will.
Well, we saw it. I mean, back in
Seeing it
March.
in numismatics right now, the premium just went up.
Yep.
We sold all that stuff and
Right back up.
$65 increase in premium.
I mean,
on
but
all of it.
literally, it was daily, intraday. March 23, when we had the banking crisis happen, when Signature Bank first started, this was we not only. I mean, it's rare that we see premium movements or gyrations, many times during the day. Usually, it happens either in the morning or it happens at night. We see some variations or
This
in a couple of
happened
days.
all day long.
But back in March of 23, we would see these premium changes happen. I remember it could have been a 20, 30 times during the day where we actually had brokers. We had to actually put new limitations on our system because brokers were selling metal,
Not realizing the premium.
not realizing the premium was already moved so substantially higher that they were selling them at a loss.
And the premiums are not controlled by us; they're controlled by
the distributors.
By the distributors in the market. So, like why I just said numismatics went up $65. We had a few $1 million worth, sold them, and to replace them, you can't find anyone that will sell them to you for less than $65 higher now. And so, on the entire system, all of the dealers, and we're connected to all of them. And so, it's a situation where it's kind of like the treasury market. There'll always be someone to buy our treasuries, but at what price? So the same thing is true here. You'll always be able to get product, but at what price? And so the market says, no, it's up here now. So when we replace it, we have to go and pay a higher price. So we're not controlling premiums. It's above us. It's the market and it's the primary distributors who take everything from the mints. Now let's look at it the other side. So everyone focuses on the primary distributors raising premiums. How do you think they feel right now when the U.S. Mint charges them over 3% to buy a gold eagle, and they have to buy tons of them, 2025s?
Their allocations.
But the back dates right now, you can buy for less than that. So, in other words, they're paying more from the mint, way more from the mint than they would pay from the public or me. If I called one of the distributors and said, I'm going to sell you 10 million in gold eagles, they're going to bid spot or back a spot.
Oh, they're all back a spot.
But they'll pay.
They're all back a spot.
They have to pay over 3%, like 3.25% to buy them from the mint. So
Right.
they lose there, they gain another, and on other times. So when the mint takes all these allocations in a tight market, and then they sell out, and the mint doesn't have any more, well, premiums are going to go higher to attract more metal into the marketplace. It goes both ways.
And generally speaking, it is somewhat of an inverse relationship because it's not always that, prices go high and premiums go low. I mean, there's plenty of times that the market will get hit and you'd think that premiums would come down, but that's not the case. It's very, very often it's the inverse.
Usually when price goes down, premiums
go
up
high,
because you get all of the value hunters come in, they buy up everything, and then to replace it, it's harder to get.
That's
prices
right.
Go up.
This one's kind of funny. SK wants to know if I was ever in the movies. I swear they could have seen me in the movie, but he forgot which one.
Probably
I would imagine it's this one. This one, tattoo.
Sure, it was an adult movie.
But it was definitely not. They're not hiring me. Not unless they want, fluffers or something like that, something easy.
Wow!
But it's.
I don't think he
it's
understands
tattoo.
what he just said.
No, whatever.
Do you know what a fluffer is?
I sure do. I know exactly
Really?
what a fluffer is. Listen, no one's hiring me to be in porn. That's for sure.
Oh my God.
Just saying. That's just it. No one. Andy, Rick Bruce Roche wants to know, when will the Glint Vault be complete in the United States?
They've got to deal with Bring Salt Lake City. I don't think it's complete yet.
And what about silver? When are they going to launch
That's where
silver?
it would go. Silver is launched.
They did
you
launch
can
silver?
do silver. You just can't. You can't spend silver right now on
Well,
your
that's
MasterCard.
okay. That's what I meant.
You can only spend gold on the MasterCard. You can accumulate silver, though.
Does Glint work in Canada?
Glint does work in Canada, I believe.
With the debit card?
The debit card works everywhere in the world,
right.
but they only allow it in the UK, the United States, and I think Canada, North America, and the UK.
Okay.
For now.
Jonna, where are we on time, by the way?
Well, right now is 6:46.
I'm gonna have to go pretty quick.
Yeah.
I need to call a guy that called me 15 minutes ago.
All
I have
right,
to go
let's
pretty quick.
let's do one more.
46.
We have a lot of them, but this one.
1,200.
Yeah. Vladimir Johnson says, Andy, I love you, but give us Michelle.
She's a lot better looking than I am. I promise you that.
Yes.
And she's really smart.
TJ Her wants to know if we were college roommates. No, but that would have been fun.
That would have been fun, but we probably wouldn't be. We would have killed each other.
Yeah, probably.
No, we've never been in. I don't think we've ever even raised our voice at each other.
Never.
I
mean, yeah, you have, but I mean, every woman
and
has,
his name
right?
is
I mean,
not Kevin. It's
you know,
Tattoo.
right?
Right, Hervé.
All right. Let's just end on this one because it's similar to the banks.
Two
okay.
more.
So, Enlightened wants to know, or is a statement: the U.S. insurance industry is in deep trouble, not only due to fires, floods, etc., but their 8.2 trillion reserve funds are tied up in bonds bought between 08 and 10 when interest rates. That's exactly right. Which is one of the reasons that when we talk about the trouble that potential banks are in, it's not far-fetched from the insurance industry as well. When the insurance companies are able to give you yield or return on your investment through whether it's whole life or one policy that they give, where do they get it from? It's from a higher yielding vehicle that they're getting, similar to the banks. So yeah, when things are in trouble, you want to look at the banks and you want to look at the insurance companies.
Or even some of it is just for stability. But if the rates rise, those bonds that they're holding collapse. It's a big deal. And this is when we talk about the Great Reset or, Operation Sandman, if that is true, as Mike Adams infers, and one of the smartest guys I know, by the way. If everyone globally all at once dumped bonds and interest rates spiked to the moon, everything would reset. The stock market, the bond market, both inversely correlated. The banks and the insurance companies loaded with treasuries would implode in a matter of moments. So he's right. And this is a very dangerous thing. I think it's Weiss Research. Martin Weiss publishes ratings and risk ratings for the insurance companies, but it's something you should be very keenly aware of. And it bothers me because I have an awful lot tied up in
insurance vehicles.
Well, for my company,
right,
through 401k, through deferred comp, all that kind of stuff, and it's with insurance companies. And honestly, I hope Mike's not listening, but part of me feels like it's just you can kiss it goodbye. Now, again, I am the little boy who cried wolf, but I can see that moment, and let's hope it doesn't happen. God forbid, where rates go parabolic. And that's exactly what would happen. So that's a good point.
All right, let's end on this one. I think we kind of touched on this, or you kind of touched on it. TJ Her wants to know if there's a bigger picture behind all the tariff meetings, like our new monetary system.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's to push everyone away from the dollar. We're doing it to our allies, and I think it's to tell the world in not such a gentle way that we don't want to be the reserve currency anymore. You can't go out and say that, but you can make it so uncomfortable that it just isn't really in these countries' best interest to continue to use dollars and pay all of these fees simply to do trade with the U.S. Now, maybe especially because if the dollar is the world reserve currency and we continue to inflate and have horrible fiscal responsibility at the same time we're levying a tax on you to do business with us in dollars, to me, it's almost like they're just trying to softly push everyone away from dollars and so that we can reshore manufacturing and have low interest rates and a devalued dollar. You can't be the world reserve currency and have a weak dollar. It doesn't work. So what do? Do you default? You say we're giving up this privilege? I mean, it doesn't work unless this is kind of like a soft default on the dollar. So it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, but I think it has more than meets the eye. They're not just doing it to replace income tax. I think part of the reason they're doing it is maybe if we're no longer the world reserve currency, then tariffs are justified in the respect that we do have such a vibrant and hopefully even a bigger, vibrant economy. But being the world reserve currency, it's a conflict of reality. Griffin's dilemma says you'll always have an imbalance. So Why are we tariffing our allies when you know, and the vice president has written on White House letterhead that you have the Triffin's dilemma. This is the issue, period. And you got guys like Vince Lancy or even well, let's just say Vince, that China doesn't want to be the reserve currency. They don't, because their manufacturing base would be eviscerated. So instead of there being a reserve currency, you use gold to back the system, and everyone trades their own currencies cross border with one another, settling imbalances in gold. I think it's something to really think about, but my guess is it is in an effort to push and softly get the ball rolling on a soft default on the dollar to support the bond market.
So with that being said, that's a good way to close.
I know it's
right,
a tough
right,
one.
right
But
before we do, I just want to let everyone know, John just told me to give the specials out for today. Weekly specials right now. We kept on the 1 ounce gold UK Brits at 59 over spot. We left the 1/10 ounce platinum UK Brits at 34 over melt. We added, which is a sensational number. We added the 100 ounce silver pamp bars at $1.89 over spot while we have them.
They're the best 100 ounce bars, period. They're sexy. They're really nice.
No doubt. And we also put on the 1 ounce silver Canadian maples at $2.89 over spot. I can tell you right now, if you're able to buy sovereign minted coins, silver coins, under $3 and you're still sitting with spot in the 30s, I think you're in great shape. So take these low premium opportunities when you can. I think that you're not going to regret it. You're going to be very happy you did. Remember to subscribe, smash the like button. Do me a favor, not just with questions that are coming on live while we're here, but if you have questions, during the week, don't hesitate to send them over to info@milesfranklin.com. In the subject line, just do live Q&A. Post your questions, and we will try and get to every one of them the following week. So with that, farewell. We will see you. We're going to be back Monday. I think we're here Monday, and then I leave.
You don't leave. I leave.
No, I leave.
No,
I leave in a couple of weeks. Right. You leave, and then I leave after. But I'll be back on the Monday. You'll be back Monday?
Yep.
Okay. We wish you well.
God bless.
And again, Victor, thank you.
Victor,
You did great.
Victor.
Yeah, and stay
Love
tuned
you,
because we
Victor.
might do a whole lot more with this. Maybe some animation to it, just to make Andy very happy when he comes in and sees it
We love
in our
Victor.
background. So we appreciate you all. Thank you again. And tonight was a good one. So
Au revoir.
au revoir, bon voyage. Do well.
Bye.